the data feed goes dark, and so does part of the officiating system. Today, we're heading inside the factory where this ball gets built, panel by panel, sensor and all, to find out how a piece of sporting equipment became one of the most sophisticated pieces of wearable tech on the planet. Adidas has supplied the official World Cup match ball since 1970, when the black and white Telstar gave the tournament its first iconic look. For decades, that meant 32 stitched panels, the classic hexagon and pentagon pattern everyone pictures when they think soccer ball. That started changing in 2006, as Adidas pushed toward fewer panels and seamless, thermally bonded shells. By 2018, the Telstar 18 carried a chip too, but just a passive NFC tag for fans to scan with their phones. The real leap came in 2022, when the Al Rila became the first World Cup ball with a center-mounted motion sensor feeding live data straight to referees. Now meet the Trionda, the official ball of the 2026 World Cup, hosted jointly by Canada, Mexico, and the United States for the first time in history. The name fuses tri for three host nations with the Spanish word onda, meaning wave. It took Adidas and FIFA 3.5 years of design, blind testing, and weather trials to finalize it. The journey starts in Sialkot, Pakistan, a city that produces roughly 70% of the world's soccer balls, despite Pakistan never having played in a World Cup itself. Inside the Forward Sports Factory, massive sheets of polyurethane, backed with reinforcing cloth layers, roll off industrial presses. A die-cutting machine, essentially a giant precision cookie cutter, stamps out just 4 panel shapes per ball, instead of the 12 used on the previous World Cup ball or the 32 of decades past. Fewer panels mean fewer seams, and fewer seams mean a more predictable flight path through the air. Each panel's surface gets a textured treatment afterward. Tiny debossed patterns, visible only up close, that improve grip in wet conditions and help control airflow as the ball spins. Engineers spent years in wind tunnels chasing this exact texture after earlier low-panel balls, like the infamous 2010 World Cup ball, earned a reputation for unpredictable knuckling flight at high speed. Did you know? The 2010 World Cup ball's flight problems came down to something called a drag crisis, a point where airflow suddenly shifts from smooth to turbulent, making the ball decelerate erratically in midair. Before the panels are sealed into a sphere, they're flat, and flat is exactly when they get printed. Specialized presses apply the Trionda's swirling red, green, and blue artwork directly onto each panel, representing Canada, Mexico, and the United States. Hidden within the pattern are 3 small icons: a maple leaf, an eagle, and a star, one for each host nation. Gold detailing traces the edges, a nod to the World Cup trophy itself. Printing happens on flat material because curved surface printing is far less precise. Any curve introduces stretch and distortion that would warp a logo or blur fine line work. Technicians inspect every printed panel under bright lighting, checking for color bleed, misalignment, or faint printing before it ever reaches the assembly line. A single flawed panel gets pulled and scrapped immediately, because once panels are bonded together, there's no fixing a printing error after the fact. This is where the Trionda stops being just a ball. One of the 4 panels gets a special internal pocket built into its structure,